Is this Islay icon still pulling its weight in 2025? We're going to find out today. I'm Jeff. This is G Whiskey. Stick around. Okay, Ardbeg 10 today. This one is iconic. This is one that I thought I would have reviewed like 2, maybe 3 times before on the channel, but I looked into it and I've only touched on this bottle once over 3 years ago, which seems like not enough. I've been negligent in my responsibilities as a whiskey YouTuber. I should be coming back to this bottle every 2 weeks. Anyway, when I did review it, I gave this one an 87, so I really liked it. An 87 back then would be an 85 in today's scoring system. I did bring the points down a little bit, but I have also complained a lot on this channel about Ardbeg over the years and its issue with consistency. And that's not just from me. If you follow a lot of the discourse about Ardbeg online, a lot of people have come to the same consensus, and that is that Ardbeg has spent too much time, too much effort pumping out all these one-off special releases over the years. Oftentimes they're no age stated, oftentimes they're overpriced, and as a result, they've been kind of neglecting the core range. Personally, I think that's particularly true when it comes to the no age stated releases like the Corey Vrecken and the Ugadal, but I have also lodged the same complaint about the 10. So coming back to this one should be interesting. This one is a recent 10. We have the batch code starts with L25, so it's from earlier this year. And the reason that I wanted to come back to this one is that I have had a few interesting Ardbegs recently. I reviewed the Smokyverse a few weeks back, really enjoyed that one. I also enjoyed the Bizarrebecue, which is from maybe last year, 2 years ago, something like that. I also have the Eureka on the go, which is an interesting one. You guys can let me know down below if you want to see a review on that one. But I do feel like recently things have been getting a little bit more interesting over at Ardbeg, and I thought, okay, well, what I need to do then is I need to go back and explore some of their flagship bottles. Now, to be fair, I don't think that anyone over at Ardbeg has expressly stated that the 10 is their flagship bottle, but they probably would, and also I don't care. I'm saying it is, because I think that the most important bottles that any brand puts out should be their affordable entry-level offerings. For me, entry-level offerings work as the touchstones for the brand where I can kind of see where the brand is at, because, I mean, like if Ardbeg puts out a great new special release bottle that sells for $100, that's cool, I'd love to pick it up. But if I really want to measure the health of the brand, I'm going to turn to the 10-year-old or the 5-year-old Wee Beastie. Anyway, that's my little opinion, that's my little rant. What else? 10 years old, obviously, bourbon matured, legendary bottle, everyone knows it. So let's see where it's at in 2025. Let's not waste time. Let's jump into this review. In the meantime, if you'll kindly leave a like down below, that'd be greatly appreciated. So this one comes in at 46%. It is non-chill filtered. It is natural color. It gets it right. So classic Ardbeg bottle here. I like it. It is very distinctive. I don't think there's any other brand out there that looks like Ardbeg. I would say that it's not my favorite aesthetic, but I also would not want them to change the aesthetic because that's Ardbeg. Bottle will get 3 out of 5. This does say non-chill filtered. It does not say natural color. It really should. We don't get anything about the cask maturation, no production info. We do get a blurb on the back that mentions some tasting notes, and that's about it. So info could be better. I guess it could be worse too. Bottle's okay. On the nose, we get some smoke, some peat. There's some sea air in here. There's tar. There's some sweet citrus in here. There's some cured fish. We also get some vanilla sweetness in here. There's some nice medicinal notes as well. And we also get some minerality, some mineral notes. So think whetstones, limestone, that kind of thing. There's a nice balance between those coastal flavors and that citrusy tang. Very nice. On the palate and finish, we get a nice oiliness. It's a light, oily texture, which I really like. We get some vanilla sweetness. We get some salt, some kind of mineral notes, and seltzer water. Our smokiness here goes in the direction of like kind of industrial coal. Coal, by the way, was always my favorite snack that Santa left in my stocking at Christmas. Our finish is medium to long. We get vanilla, we get banana, we get some sweet yellow fruits, we get some brine, and we get some minerals. Oh, and also some ginger. It's nice. All right, so is Ardbeg back on track? Is Ardbeg 10 back on track? I would say yes, but there is an asterisk. Now, This is a bottle that has wavered in quality over the years, not as much as the Corey Vrecken or the Ugadal, but it's not been consistent. And while it's always tough to compare the bottle you've currently got with bottles you had in the past because you're going off of memory, I have had a lot of Ardbeg 10 over the years. It's something I know very well. And I would say that this is a step in the right direction. I do think it's improved. I have notes. It's not perfect, but it does get a lot right. Because here's what I want from Ardbeg 10. It needs to be a back to basic bottle, back to your roots. I don't want anything fancy. I don't want any cascrobatics, and I definitely don't want a bold and innovative new approach to whiskey making. What I want is a classic, reliable, dependable, and honest whiskey with no frills. And I think for the most part, they do nail that with this bottle. The distillate does shine here. And that's what it should do. I was watching another reviewer recently, I think it was Shane over at Whiskey Lock. He was reviewing an Ardbeg, and he started talking about how Ardbeg is, in fact, a very delicate distillate. It's got this reputation of being this big smoky beast, and on the surface, yes, it is that, but behind that, we do have a lot of delicacy. I think it's easy to get all caught up in the drama you get from the peat, and it is a very peaty whiskey, but it's also soft and gentle and complex once you pull back the curtains, and that's something that I think should be on display in any good Ardbeg. And we do get some of that in here. I would argue we get more of it than we have in the last few years with our Ardbeg 10 releases. However, more so than a lot of the previous releases, this does lean sweet. And as someone who doesn't really have a sweet tooth, and I don't really seek out whiskeys that lean sweet, I can still say that I thoroughly enjoy this. It's not a cloying sweetness, it just feels like it's been ramped up a little bit, and I also feel like we didn't need that. And what's funny is that recently I reviewed the Smoky Verse, and a lot of people in the comments said, oh, this is too sweet for me, it's too much of a sweet Ardbeg. And yeah, it does have a very nice sweetness. I think it's a nice sweetness in that bottle, but regardless, I had that next to the 10-year-old, and it wasn't close. The 10 was the sweeter of the two. So anyway, make of that what you will. Again, not really a big deal. It's more me nitpicking. And outside of that, there's so much to enjoy in this whiskey. I love the coal notes, the medicinal notes, the tangy citrus, the ginger. There's so much to love in this. So yeah, despite that sweetness rant, which honestly is not that big of a deal, I like everything else that is happening here. And because I've got so many fond memories of this whiskey, and because I still think it's very good. Would I say it's back on track? I don't want to say for sure. Time will tell, but I will be keeping a closer eye on Ardbeg these days. Maybe they're finding their way. Time will tell. Yeah, but this is good. I struggle between 86 and 87. I want to say 87. I think 86. Now, before we talk about value, I do have to say my quick thank you to all the channel members, all the patrons. Guys, thank you very much for the support. And if you want to help out, I've got Patreon and PayPal linked down below. This whole channel is me scripting, obviously shooting, editing. It's all a one-man show, so any kind of support is very appreciated. And that's the whole spiel. Let's talk about value. All right, so for value, I've got nothing bad to say about this one. This is excellent value. Now, here in my market, things are known to be cheap, especially when it comes to more affordable bottlings, and that's probably the case for Ardbeg. What I pay here in Taiwan is roughly 40 US or around 30 pounds, and for that, I think it's an absolute steal. This is doing so much more than so many other whiskeys in this price range, so it's definitely worth a pickup. All right, so that, ladies and gentlemen, brings us to the end of today's video, and this is the part where I ask what you think. Ardbeg 10 is a bit of a staple, so I would imagine that a good chunk of you out there have tried this one. Have you tried a more recent batch? Have you tried an older batch? Have you tried multiple batches over the years? Have you noticed a flavor drift? Have you noticed any changes? Blah, blah, blah. So many questions. You can put that all down below in the comments. Also, if there is something you want to see me review, or if you have ideas for future videos, you can put those down below as well, and I'll keep that in mind for my upcoming videos. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye, guys.